trouble he will save the day. He's brave and he's fearless, come what may. Without him the mission would go astray. He's Arnold, Arnold, Arnold Rimmer. Without him life would be much grimmer. He's handsome, trim, and no one slimmer. He will never need a Zimmer. He's Arnold, Arnold, Arnold Rimmer. More reliable than a garden's trimmer. He's never been mistaken for your grinner. He's not bald and his head doesn't glimmer. Master of the wit and the repartee, his command of space directives is uncanny. How come he's such a genius? Don't ask me. Arnold, Arnold Rimmer. He's also a fantastic swimmer. And if you play your cards right, then he just might come round for dinner. He's Arnold, Arnold, Arnold Rimmer. No right, left now, apart from Quimmer. We hope they fade us out before we get to Stimmer. Fade out, you stupid glimmer.
With me tonight are two followers. One is Atheist Sam, the other is Finlay Lad. Hello guys, how are you doing?
I'm right, cheers.
Yeah.
Fine. Thank you.
Okay, just introduce yourselves for the benefits of the listeners. You first of all, Alex.
Okay, well, I'm 19 years old. If you've seen my, Twitter, you kind of know I'm pretty mental. I don't care about anything. I'm an atheist because I find that there's no evidence in bullshit, let's put it that way.
Okay, that's fine. What about you, Atheist Sam?
I'm an atheist.
Hmm?
But I'm not actually called Sam.
No, I'm just calling you that for the purposes of the programme.
Oh, that's alright.
Okay, what would you rather me call you, mate?
No, Sam's fine.
Sam's fine, okay. Are you both Red Dwarf fans?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Both atheists, both Red Dwarf fans. You're my kind of guys. So, do you want the Red Dwarf questions, or do you want the atheist questions?
I'll go for a mix.
I prefer the atheist questions, but I'll do the Red Dwarf questions as well. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest.
Well, it's okay. Well, I'll ask you the easiest two questions of the Red Dwarfs. And I'll ask you three questions from the atheist set, okay? Because we haven't heard much of the atheist set. If you like, we can just ask the atheist questions and then we can talk a little bit about Red Dwarf. Yeah?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah? Okay, right. So, you guys, I understand... you, Alex, were watching the Nye versus Ham debate?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, okay. What did you think of it?
To summarise, Ham's argument, basically, his main claim... Well, his argument was we weren't actually there to watch it happen, so we have no evidence. Yet he felt compelled that even though no one saw most of the crap that was in the Bible because the book exists.
Yeah,
that's proof of his argument. One also funny bit I found about it is one of the questions was basically if you were shown evidence that God does not exist, well, effectively, I'm summarising here, would you change your belief? And effectively he said no.
No,
I think that stands for itself.
Yeah, he said no, he'll always believe in God. And he said he would always know because he's a Christian. Now, I was a Christian for a long time and I never knew. Prayed a lot and really, really did believe very devoutly. And never had any sort of message, never had any revelation. Maybe it's because God knew I was going to become an atheist. Who knows? Sam, did you see the debate?
No, I'm tempted to watch it, but listening to creationists is a bit... it's a bit of a strain.
There's been a bit of an argument about it, whether Bill Nye did the right thing actually accepting the debate. I mean, I know Richard Dawkins went on record saying, you're just giving them a platform to, say how criticised they are and how lambasted they are. So basically, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because if you don't engage them, then you're accused of cowardice.
Can I just step in and say, I disagree with Richard Dawkins on that, mainly because I've read a few places. One of the main arguments has been, if you don't... Basically, what Nye did, he was teaching people science while he was there, which, from what I understand, Kentucky is a very religious state. I won't stand to say I know anything about it, but they have a museum which has a triceratops with a saddle on. I'm sorry, but I can't say that without laughing.
I know. Yeah, the Creationist Museum is a little bit out there, isn't it? I went back and watched Religulous, actually, a few days ago, and just the whole Creation Museum, I actually laughed harder than I did the first time. Yeah.
The other thing I was just, like, we can't keep our mouths shut and let them speak this rubbish without just doing nothing, because as Nye's main point was here, if we raise a generation of students who don't believe in the process of science, who think everything that we've come to know about nature and the universe can be dismissed by a few sentences translated into English from some ancient text, you're not going to continue to innovate. I'm just quoting that from yesterday, which I think is completely true.
It was an interesting debate. I mean, I'm not denying that Ken Ham was very, articulate. It's just that most of what came out of his mouth basically was based on the Bible, what happened in the Bible, and he didn't even validate that as a credible source. Sam, you will see all of this when you watch the debate, or if you go and read up on it. But Ken Ham's whole position was because the Bible said so.
Yeah.
That was basically his whole argument, and his whole argument was the Bible says so, and you weren't there, so how do you know? We could summarise the whole thing, couldn't we, Alex, on that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, now, as we speak, I've just tweeted you over a JPEG of the Dawkins scale.
Yep.
Are you both familiar with it?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, where would you put yourselves? You first, Sam.
7.
Definite 7.
Yeah, 7. I reject all proposals of gods or sky fairies or whatever you want to call them.
Right. Do you believe there is a possibility that there is a sky fairy?
No.
Right.
I think it's a really sort of simple way of looking at it.
Right, so you're like Hitch, you're a definite 7.
The thing is, if God created us, what created God? And where does God come from? And it's just gonna... So, no, I just think stuff existed and there isn't a big story behind it.
And if God created the Earth, how did he do it? I mean, did he get a bit of MDF and just bang a few of it together? How did he create it? Where did he get the materials? Who provided him with the materials? He built it in 6 days. On the 7th day he rested, and on the Monday morning he got a hangover and created Casey Hopkins.
That's good.
I wonder what he did on his day off. Does he just sort of sit with a joint, a couple of beers or something?
I don't know. He rested, although why a perfect, infallible God would need to rest, I don't know.
It was nice of him to invent 7 days back then as well, because this is before, he's invented the solar system, which we based the calendar off. And he's created, and he goes right ahead and makes Sunday. It was like, the first thing I'm making is an end of the week where I take my day off.
Well, this is an exceptional God. I mean, it's a God that created light 3 days before he created the sun. So, it's an exceptional God that we're talking about.
Yeah, he can make things in whatever order he wants, really, can't he?
Yeah.
Like, he can have the Earth rotate around the sun, and then he'll make gravity. And I'm like,
Yeah.
In fact, he probably had the Earth rotating around the sun, and he thought, well, I need to explain that. And that's when he invented gravity. And
he's probably making the stars move further away from each other just to piss us off.
For shits and giggles.
Yeah. just to play a joke on us, just to say, right, come on, let's fuck with those people down there, idiots.
Well, he has gone out of his way to convince everyone that he doesn't exist, really. Like, he's laid down all the science and facts and things, and he's had the science and facts prove that he doesn't exist. So he's very cunning like that, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, we may as well sit here and talk about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Or Dumbledore.
Or unicorns.
Or unicorns. Or farting sex robots. None of them exist. None of them exist.
I'm surprised they haven't appeared on Red Dwarf yet, to be honest.
Farting sex robots.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever get Doug Naylor on the show, which some of my followers like trying to get me to, then I will ask him if he's going to include a scene with a farting sex robot.
That's going to be a quality question.
You have that. You have my solemn promise on that. Okay, we'll mix these up a bit. So you're both a 7 on the Dawkins scale. Okay. Red Dwarf question. What, in your opinion, is the funniest moment or line from Red Dwarf?
Oh.
Gazpacho soup.
Classic.
I just think it's a brilliant line.
Yeah.
How was your sort of... It's just a dying line, isn't it?
Not alphabeti spaghetti. Or even, he was like a set of pistons in an ocean liner engine room. No, gazpacho soup's good.
Mine's more the Rimmer song. I listen to that from time and time again, and it's the funniest thing I've heard in my life.
Oh, the Munchkin song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I mean, it's that just really proves to go what I've said about Series 7, is it's got funny moments. It's an okay series. Each show is okay, but it's got very funny moments. Like the kiss in Blue. Yeah, same episode. No, it wasn't. It was Stoke Me a Clipper, wasn't it? Stoke Me a Clipper.
Stoke Me a Clipper.
Stoke Me a Clipper, I'll be back for Christmas.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay. Atheist question. Firstly, Alex, tell us a little bit about where you're from, and how you first started to self-identify as an atheist.
Southwest England, Dorset, Sanford. Basically, where I grew up, there's basically my local school has a church on it, and ever since I was little, one of the things they fed to me was I had to go to church. I can't remember if it's the start of the day or the end or both. Fortunately, I have a family that haven't forced it upon me. My mum never said anything. I have had a Bible in the past, all this rubbish, and I just don't think there's. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't believe. There's no evidence for it, and so no one forced it upon me. So I wasn't indoctrinated in any way, and it's only recently on Twitter I've actually been pretty open about it, and Facebook as well.
Right. So it's something that has been kind of growing in you a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long ago did you actually? I hate to use the term "come out," but how long ago did you actually come out as an atheist?
Openly, I'd probably say 2012, but more so because I would challenge my friends on their beliefs now as well. Whereas I used to never say anything, never do anything. I'd admit if someone asked and it came up, but yeah, I'm more open about it.
And are your friends that still believe still your friends?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Some of them, yes, and some of them get annoyed when I call them cherry pickers.
Yes.
One of my friends, who if he ever listens is going to get quite pissed off, I always quote him Leviticus, I can never bloody say it, purely because he has a sleeve, and he says he's a Catholic. It's just, the irony is immense.
Yeah, the irony and the hypocrisy is indeed immense. Yeah, absolutely right. How did your family react? I mean, did they already know, or?
Yeah. My mum has her odd strokes where randomly she stopped believing in God and all this rubbish just because she's got to the point. I've been there where I felt so crap, or you know what I mean. You do it as a laugh. It's like, oh come on, there's nothing else that can do any harm. You know it's not going to do anything, but it makes you feel better. That's the summary of what I personally think religion is. It's a comfort, but there's no. I want reality, not that.
Yeah, you'd rather know, which way is up, which way is down.
Yeah.
and not be told any bullshit. Okay, Sam. Same about you. Whereabouts are you from in the UK? Because you're obviously a Brit, like me and Alex. And when did you first start to self-identify as an atheist?
Well, I'm from South Yorkshire, and
I kind of guessed with the accent.
I don't know. I'd be about 11, 12.
Yeah.
Pretty early on.
What precipitated it? What brought it on?
Well, I was raised as a Mormon.
Wow. Okay.
And it just, I don't know. One day I asked myself, what do I believe? And when you look at things logically, religion just falls apart. I mean, it makes no sense. It's constantly contradicting itself, and there's no scientific evidence that exists, but there's plenty that disproves a lot what they claim. So it was kind of, I'm just going to be an atheist. I can't find any reason not to be. I'm an atheist. I'm sort of very adamant on that one. If people want to believe in God, that's fine. But when people start, like with gay rights, and they're very adamant that we shouldn't have gay rights, and you ask them for a logical reason why there shouldn't be gay rights, well, it's in the Bible. No, we want a proper logical reason why we should deny people these rights. Not it's in a book.
Has Twitter... I mean, I'm not sure how long you guys have been on Twitter, whether you're old hands or whether you're fairly new to it, but has Twitter changed your view on atheism or reinforced it?
No, not really. I mean, it's nice to talk about, religion, atheism and things like that, but it hasn't really changed my opinion on it.
No, has it reinforced it, though?
Well, I suppose. I mean, I'm as strong an atheist now as I was a year ago when I first started on Twitter.
Are you more vocal about it than you were a year ago?
Yes, definitely more vocal.
Yeah.
Also, when you speak to other atheists, it gives you more ammunition, so to speak, when you're debating with theists.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time they will attack you with these lot of weird logical things, and you tend to sort of you see the ways to cut through that sort of bullshit.
Yeah.
And say no, let's get to the facts. Stick to the facts.
I think one of the people I know that we all follow that cuts through it with probably the sharpest knife ever is Franco Soup.
Yeah. She is amazing. Well, good, yeah.
I think I don't know whether it's been coined before. If it has, I apologise, but she had the best comeback to a tweet last week with regards to a creationist who claimed that God created everyone, and she hit him with a medical question. I can't remember the terminology, but I called it a Ra slap. If Ra would actually go out on the speaking circuit, she'd be the next Hitch. Actually leads me to my next question. Who are your favourite Twitter atheists?
That's a tough one. I'm currently going through it. I'd say Mr. Oz Atheist is quite high up on there. I'll be honest here.
There should be a show called Everybody Loves Donovan because everybody does.
Yeah, it's just... I will say... I'll give my top four, basically. Him, Atheist Blobfish, because he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Logical Narwhal. One person recently who the Blobfish told me to follow was, I think it's Atheist Dan, or basically one of the best debaters I've seen on Twitter, and he cuts straight to the point and basically cuts the bullshit away.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all of them, and they're all great tweeters. What about you, Sam?
Beagry.
Or Beadgery, as Zoe calls him, Zoe Jen.
Yeah, and Zoe herself.
Yes.
And Subman, USA, I think.
Subman USN, yeah.
Yep, that's one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like, Raw and...
Religious Tea's another great one. With regards to Red Dwarf, okay, presumably you're both familiar with Norman Lovett episodes and Hattie Hayridge episodes. Which one do you prefer as Holly and why?
I'm going to go with Hattie because everyone else picks Norman.
Yeah, hey, yay for Hattie, nice one. Nice one, Sam.
Well, I did like it because when I really started getting into it and watching it almost religiously, it was her.
Which series did you start with?
Series 4?
Yeah, White Hole, Dimension Jump, Meltdown
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, good series. Alex?
Mine would be Hay. Well, I like Norm as well.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I'm a fan of Red Dwarf, but we're talking a few years back. I've watched these now, but yeah, Hattie and Norm pretty much did it for me, to be honest.
Do you mean to tell me, young man, you've been coming on this Smegcast for the last week, and you haven't watched any Red Dwarf in preparation?
I've watched... No.
Naughty step with you now, lad.
I've watched only Series 10.
Oh, Series X, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Great. Do you see Series X, Sam?
What was the last one I watched? It's the last episode of the series where the Red Dwarf is rebuilt by nano machines and everyone's alive again.
Series 8.
I watched that and I sort of lost interest in it. Is it Back to Earth?
Yeah.
Where they end up in Coronation Street and stuff like that. Stuff like that was funny.
Yes.
It got a bit surreal towards the end.
Yeah, it did the whole Blade Runner and we're writing our own ending thing, and then
Yeah.
Chloe Annette, who is just swing. Sorry to use a 1992 reference there. But no, Series X, Sam, is really good. There's an third episode in called Lemons, where the crew meet Jesus.
So that's amazing.
You might find that one very interesting. Yeah, there's a line in that was used on the trailer, and it's just like the funniest line in the whole thing. Anyway, right. Christopher Hitchens or Richard Dawkins, and why, lads?
Oh, I'd have to say Richard Dawkins.
Why?
The first time I ever heard of Richard Dawkins, this is quite sad, but yeah, was when I was watching South Park, ironically. This is the Go God Go episodes, where a flying spaghetti monster was created. And since from that, I've, read a lot of the stuff, followed him on Twitter, watched a few debates on him, and I'm just intrigued by everything he does now, so it's got to be him for me. Plus, watching him South Park was hilarious. I know it's not him, but it just stays in my head.
To be honest with you, it's surprising how many people's first exposure to Richard Dawkins was through South Park. Someone I work with who isn't an atheist, who isn't a Christian, just doesn't care, basically. Yeah. I asked him if he ever heard of Richard Dawkins, and he said, "Oh, was that the guy in South Park?" And I went, "Yep."
That's quality.
But did you know that Richard Dawkins is married to an ex-Doctor Who companion?
Oh, no, I didn't. That's that's an intriguing bit of information. I do love my Doctor Who.
Richard Dawkins is married to Lala Ward. Lala Ward was Tom Baker's companion. She was the second Romana.
Fortunately, I'm quick at typing.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of trivia for you then, and that will please some of the Who fans that listen to this.
I'm a Who fan as well.
Right, what do we think about Capaldi?
I've not been interested in the reboot. I preferred the longer series.
You're a classic fan.
Yeah, and when they started cutting it down to like 1 or 2 episodes, I couldn't really get into it. Some of them has been good. I watched the anniversary one. That was spectacular.
The Day of the Doctor, was it?
Yeah. Especially at the end when 13 Doctors show up?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
That was awesome. It's all 12 Doctors. No, it's 13. Hell yeah. That was a good moment, though. Especially because I've grown up watching Doctor Who, and I've seen most of the Doctors in action. To see all of them sort of like piling on there was just so awesome. It's a pure geek moment, but I loved it.
I just like the bit where Capaldi you just see his eyes just look up like that, and he's got that look that you sometimes see on Malcolm Tucker when he's particularly pissed off
yeah.
at something.
I do hope he. This sounds a bit sad, but it brings a bit of Malcolm Tucker with him, to be honest.
Me too.
The little bit you see him in, where he basically doesn't know how to. He's saying he doesn't know how to drive the TARDIS, and he doesn't even know basically who he is. I was a bit optimistic on that little bit, then they just completely finished it there.
I just thought the line when he says, you know, I've got new kidneys and they're the wrong colour. I just thought that was great. Can you imagine? This was my one thing about casting him as Doctor Who. Can you imagine the amount of kids that were into Doctor Who, and when they found out about Capaldi, they went straight to YouTube, and what's the first thing they're going to say? Peter Capaldi talking about ramming a lubricated horse cock up somebody's shitter, you know.
Many mums and dads can have a... What's that, Mum?
Mum, what's a lubricated horse cock?
I think we're getting younger and more mature with every generation, so it doesn't matter to me the slightest, to be honest.
Yeah. My sixth question to you, well, it was meant to be my sixth, I think it's probably my eighth, but my sixth question to you is, both of you, what's your favourite video game and why?
I knew you were going to fucking ask me this one.
If you had to pick
Ninja
one.
Ninja Gaiden, because it has a ninja in it, and it's just a spectacular game. It's a really deep combat system, and it's a really hardcore game. It's the sort of game if you make one mistake and it'll just completely screw you up. It will take your ninja sword off you, polish it up for you, and then shove it up your arse if you do not respect the game.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely my favourite.
Remind me not to buy that, because I don't really fancy sword anal.
That'd be very bloody.
It would be, yeah. It would be bloody painful, never mind bloody.
I was gonna, as a joke, say Flappy Birds. It's got to be a GTA game, and I'm gonna say San Andreas.
Right.
My reasoning for this is, out of all the first off, I love GTA just purely because of the amount you can do in the game is ridiculous.
Bing!
Yeah. And now, the reason I have San Andreas more so compared to GTA 5, I think San Andreas, if they just up the graphics, would still get the sales that GTA 5 got. They've taken a lot out of 5 as well that was in San Andreas. Just overall, you compare the time frame between the two games and how good, and the amount of hours I've spent on San Andreas, we're probably talking about 1,000 at least.
Yeah.
And GTA 5, I completed it, put it down, haven't played it since. Whereas San Andreas now, I've still occasionally get my PS2 out and have a go, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do the same. KDST is probably one of the best radio stations ever. Yeah, I love it. I love getting in a plane and just flying around San Andreas. Yeah, I'm with you on San Andreas. It's a great game. I still think GTA 5's got the edge over it. The thing about San Andreas for me, the reason why I say that is it's kind of like GTA 4. You got to do a lot of meaningless bollocks. Like in GTA San Andreas, you have to eat, you have to exercise, you have to do this, you have to do that. You know, otherwise you'll go fat, otherwise you'll die of loss of energy. In GTA 4, you had to go out on dates. Purely in order for the storyline to continue, you had to go out on dates. That's my main gripe with GTA San Andreas. But on everything else, I'm with you, especially the fucking jetpack.
Oh my god!
San Andreas. Crammed in everything.
They did. And riding the jetpack over the military base at the back of the airfield and getting your arse handed to you by the military. Oh. Just great fun.
One little thing just to add. I do love talking. It's just in San Andreas, like when you got in a vehicle, they had all the what they call. They had all the car driving achievements. And in this, they've lost most of them. I just find it. Little things like that, which added hours to the game, are what I miss, basically.
I know. Oh, I meant to with San Andreas. You've reminded me of something, right? Answer me a question, guys. Have you ever actually stopped at the side of a freeway, got out and just looked at the road and then just seen the biggest pile-up ever? Because that happens on San Andreas.
No.
Go to the freeway, any freeway going up to Las Venturas. Just stop, get out of your car at the side of the road, just stand there and watch, and you will get pile-ups. You will get people shooting at each other. You will get people trying to drive up the wall. It's the funniest thing ever. There's lots of cool things you can do in GTA.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, guys, next question. What's your ideal job?
Game designer. Easily. Love my video games.
Right, what do you do? What do you actually do for a living?
At the moment, I'm not doing anything. Painfully unemployed.
You're the same, are you, Alex?
I'm recently lost my job, yeah.
Oh, sorry, lads. Well, are you doing anything to actually get into, your chosen field, Sam, or?
At the moment, I'm just looking to get money together to support myself. I mean, once I'm stable on things, then yeah, I would. Especially since making independent games, releasing them online nowadays, is a lot easier.
Is it an apps that you're looking to design, or are you looking to design like a proper video game for a console?
Well, I'd like to design games for consoles. I'd like to design big budget, powerful 3D powerful games and stuff like that. But I'd settle for doing some sort of simple 2D games or apps for phones and things like that, just stuff for fun.
I answer this in 3 prongs. Anything that makes me happy. Ideally, stupid amount of people think that being rich is happiness. I just think having happiness is richness in itself. The other thing is, I have a tendency to have a lot of patience. Not on Twitter, I will admit, but when it comes to customer service, so something along the lines of will actually be able to get me anything in that to us. And thirdly, anything in IT. I'm not picky.
Right. So a bit of a mixed bag for you.
Yeah.
Right. Which would you choose if you had to do something?
It'd be computer based. I want to one day learn actually how to code my own apps for my phone. One of the things is my phone's jailbroken, and I like basically toying with things like that. And I've got a modded PS3 and all this stuff. It interests me a lot. So learning my own code and be able to develop my own stuff would eventually what I want to be able to do, to be honest.
So, do you kind of have any knowledge that could get you towards that, or have you studied, or have you learned online?
Currently trying to learn online. Yeah.
Next question: Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, Star Wars or Star Trek, John McClane or Jack Bauer?
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter? It's got to be Lord of the Rings. Just the first thing that comes to me is Lord of the Rings. I could sit there and watch that over and over, whereas Harry Potter, I can't. I do like the films, and everything about Lord of the Rings. I've even played several of their Game Boy Advance games, for God's sake. Everything about Lord of the Rings intrigues me a lot more than Harry Potter.
Very rich in lore, isn't it? It's very rich in background. I mean, the appendices themselves would make a fascinating story if he could have, written it in story form. Sam, what about you? Which of those would you choose?
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's a massive influence, that.
What's the best part about it? I mean, what's your favourite scene or favourite part of it?
My favourite scene in the movie is where Gandalf stands up to the Balrog.
You shall
he's
not
just
pass.
A frail old man with a staff, and he's just like, "You will not pass," and then he beats down on this gigantic flame demon thing. I mean, that's pretty good. For a guy that's in his like late 50s, 60s, whatever.
Oh yeah, Ian McKellen's a star. Yeah,
he is brilliant.
I like in Return of the King where Aragorn and Gandalf and Gimli, Legolas and the whole army are there. Aragorn just looks around and says for Frodo and then starts running. Love that bit. My partner Sharon, her favourite bit of the whole saga is when Legolas gets a marathon of kills in the Two Towers and skates down that thing's tail, and Gimli says, "That still only counts as one."
The big elephant thing.
That's it, yeah. Oliphant, yeah. what are both of your favourite songs and why?
Pantera, I'm Broken.
Yeah, good group. I like Pantera.
Yeah. Well, it's one of first songs that I really got into when I was about 14, 15. It's like when I first started getting into music, and it was just one of those songs that I would be playing all the time, and I still play it today.
Mine's White Noise by Disclosure. The reason I base this is because I'm looking at my iTunes library at the moment, and it's the most played song on my iTunes library.
Right, how many plays has it got?
It's joint first with Latch, also by Disclosure, and it's got 402, and it's 5 minutes 40 seconds long. I will say it's not the only thing I listen to. I've got all of AC/DC's albums here. Oasis,
Good
Coldplay. A mixed palette, I'd say my music is, but when it comes to house and that sort of genre, it mellows me out, and because I'm sure you're I don't know how old Sam is, but I'm coming up for 20. I'm more in the club scene at the moment. That type of thing is what I listen to quite often to now.
What's your favourite swear word and why?
Cunt, because I just like the way it sounds. Because when you call someone a cunt, they know you call them a cunt. They can't mistake it. I don't use it as an insult as so much as... Because I know some people tend to find it quite offensive, so I don't use it that often. But when I'm with my friends and we're having a laugh and someone does something stupid, then I will slightly say they're a cunt. Yeah, it's just so easy to say. You can even say it when you're absolutely pissed and stoned.
One of my
Plus,
favourites.
like, say you drop something on your toe and you need to swear, it's really easy to just roll off the tongue, isn't it? You don't even have to say it, but just go, Umph! And people totally understand what you're trying to express.
Not to copy Sam, I will say cunt as well. It's that part of the reason being, it's one of the words until I was actually 18 I never used to say, because there's this whole basically everyone I was with always hated the words, and I've come to the conclusion now you're the person who's offended by something when it's not meant there to be offensive, basically. And I think it was Francis Soup that actually tweeted this, that cunt, it's one of the only swear words that when you say it, whoever's offended by it, you know they're a cunt because they're getting offended by it. Basically.
Yeah. Right. Now this is a question that I introduced for Zoe last week. Okay, now I'm not talking about anything unpleasant here. I'm talking about funny. What's the most fucked up thing you've ever seen?
Rebecca Watson.
You've seen Rebecca Watson?
Yeah, I saw her on YouTube and I was like, man, how can that be? I think, in fact, it was the Elevator Gate video.
Mm.
And it's the whole story. I got onto an elevator with this guy and he says, don't mean anything by it, but would you like to go for a coffee? And so I'm like, that's a thing? I mean, I don't know how polite you have to be when asking her out. Because, seriously, he starts off with, don't take this the wrong way. And then she went and took it the wrong way anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if he'd been disrespectful to her or he'd put his hands on her, then yeah, I'd totally be defending her point of view. But, you know, when you ask a girl out, you don't just do it on a whim. You kind of build yourself up to it. You have a bit of Dutch courage, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the other thing. You know, that guy must have thought long and hard about it and just didn't want us to take it the wrong way. And like, quite rightly, Sam, you said she did take it the wrong way. So that, to me, automatically made her an idiot. So the most fucked up thing you ever saw was Rebecca Watson?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I've seen creationists speak before, and so I knew there was like a level of stupidity, but then you see Rebecca Watson, and she describes the situation, and it described like nothing at all, just a simple conversation between two people, but somehow this is proof that the entire world is misogynistic, and that it's targeting her.
They're very paranoid.
Can I just step in? Is she a feminist as well?
Oh, yes.
She's a social justice warrior feminist.
Yeah. Or a Sarah Jessica Wanker, as I always call her. That stems from last night because, Zoe and Beagry and Subman were all talking about SJWs, and I didn't know what the acronym stood for. I guessed it was Sarah Jessica Wanker, but they told me it was Social Justice Warrior. Brackets, from behind a keyboard, end brackets. So from now on, they're not social justice warriors to me, they're Sarah Jessica Wankers.
Or social justice wankers.
Wankers.
Even better. But, is she the sort of person who, like, you know, the crusts on the edge of pies? Does she, like, provide the teeth marks for pie crusts? Because I've looked at, and I'm sure that her teeth would actually, you know, match a pie that I ate this morning.
I'm looking at her on Google at the moment, and I don't think I can find a single picture of her mouth open. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I get the reference.
It's definitely pie crust applicator in her mouth.
Yeah.
And they say that us Brits have bad teeth. Alex, what's the most fucked up thing you've ever seen?
No, you want... This is where I'm pretty disagree. I find everything funny, and nothing really phases me anymore, so it's gonna have to be... Well, I'll choose two. You can decide. One's when a mate typed in meatspin.com. That made me laugh like nothing else. And the other is Pain Olympics.
Pain Olympics?
I hope I don't need to describe what they involve, because I hope you know, but yeah.
Okay, right, guys, I hope you brought your best, and you've done your mouth exercises, if you'll pardon that vernacular, but give us your best impression. Sam, you first. Someone's got to go first, it's going to be you, dude.
Okay, but it's not very good.
It's okay.
It's a me, Mario.
That actually wasn't bad. Luigi! Okay, Alex, you're up. Best impression.
Yum. Gremlins. And... yeah.
What sort of things make you laugh?
Red Dwarf, South Park. You predicted that, yeah.
Yeah.
Religion is always a good one to make me laugh. Anything like that, to be honest. I like laughter. I like when people are happy, because if everyone's happy, then there'll be no issues. So yeah, that kind of stuff makes me laugh.
Do people laughing make you laugh? I.e., someone who's got a really infectious laugh and won't stop laughing.
The reason I say no to this is mainly because I'm normally the person with the infectious laugh that's making other people laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
You have got an infectious laugh, actually. I will give you that. I mean, you've giggled your way all the way through this podcast.
Yeah.
And it is quite infectious. Sam, what makes you laugh, mate?
People being very British in the face of complete absurdity. Because it's just something about the British in that we try to remain British regardless of what's going on around us.
I think your theory of dinosaurs is a load of bullshit. That's nice, dear. Would you like a cup of tea? That sort of thing.
Have you ever seen the ending of the Monty Python Meaning of Life, where Death shows up and informs them they've all died? And they're like, oh, have we? That's rather inconvenient.
Yes.
That sort of...
Yeah. And Monty Python is replete with Britishness.
Yeah.
You could even in the life of Brian there was British, you know. I mean, the whole thing about the People's Front of Judea and the very, very rigid set of rules, and you've got to propose something and have it seconded, you know, the way that every meeting was adhered to with precision, you know, that's very British. Right. What's your guilty pleasure? Or guilty pleasures? What sort of shit things do you really like in secret?
Certain J-pop. So, 'cause I watch a lot of Japanese cartoons, animes.
Right.
And they have it's really sort of crap pop music, but with Japanese people singing on it. And for some reason, I tend to get into some of them.
And this is anime.
Yes.
Can you recommend any specific titles I should look for, just for a laugh?
Pineapple.
I've got terrible.
But if you're looking for anime to watch,
Yep.
Full Metal Alchemist. Everyone
Metal.
should watch that one, really.
Right, that is Full Metal Alchemist. I shall have a look for that on Netflix, and I shall let you know what I think of it.
I was going to say self-masturbation, but
Self-masturbation?
what was it? Oh, fucking hell.
As opposed to masturbating somebody else.
Oh, well, yeah.
Right.
No, I'd rather not say that. But if we go on things we don't like to admit, I'd probably say like certain video games that I grew up with. You know, you got RuneScape, you got World of Warcraft. They're still tabooed at my age. By that I mean, if you say you play any of those, I don't play them anymore. But I do admit I really enjoy playing them. People give you a label and basically say you've got no life, and why the fuck do you... This is if you admit you even play them, you know, even though they know a lot about you, know what you do, etc. But yeah, those things.
Piece of advice from an older guy with experience, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you see Me on the Chase last night?
Oh, no, I did not.
Did you, Sam?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What did I say during that episode with regard to video games?
You mentioned Skyrim and you played it for sort of 500 hours or something?
500 hours. In fact, that's wrong. By the time that episode had gone out, it was about 500 hours, but it actually went up to 1,000. I spent a long time in there, Alex, and don't let anybody ever label you, don't let anybody ever tell you who you are and what you are, okay? You are you. There is nobody else like you in the world. So don't let anybody label you. Because at the end of the day, I didn't mind admitting that yesterday, because I don't give a shit what people think.
Yeah.
You should have that same attitude.
Probably.
Right. Fuck it. It's bollocks, mate. At the end of the day, you are your own person. Don't let anybody, whether they're your friends or whether they're people who don't like you, don't let anybody tell you who or what you are. You are you. Be true to yourself, alright? Lecture over.
You got ripped off. If that was me, the guy at the end, the mathematician that took the lower offer, I would have just nutted him. I would have.
I will be honest with you. When we were taping it, it was taped last August, so it was taped quite a while ago. When we were on it and he took that -2, a part of me wanted to go up to that podium and kick him right in the bollocks and say, "What the fuck are you doing?" Right? But because you're on TV and because you've got to be civil and because you've got to, you know, at least look as though you're cooperating.
Yeah.
I kept me cool, and I thought, well, maybe, you know, we've still got 10 grand each. But his arrogance backstage, he knew everything. He was the ultimate quiz king. And then when he went for the -2, I thought to myself, you, mate, are just all mouth.
Can talk the talk, but can't walk the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he only got 4 grand initially, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got 4 grand initially. I was like, oh, I'm very disappointed with that. I was expecting more. So he offered more than, it was about 40 grand, wasn't it?
43 grand.
Yeah, well, and he immediately goes for -2 grand. I don't care if I was on TV. I'd have walked up and I'd have just stuck the nut on.
I said to him, go for the -2 if you feel you really have to. Though I was trying to emphasise, don't go for the -2, because I didn't feel as though he really would have to. I presume that he wouldn't have gone for that low an offer, but he did. So, it was, I did want to nut him. The other woman, I can't remember her name, Karen, I think she was lovely. She was really nice. And I didn't mind her going for the 2, because I wanted her back, because she got quite a good cash build around, and I thought she'd be a good player. So I didn't mind her going for the low offer. But when he went for the -2, basically did nothing to contribute to the team. At least she contributed.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so sorry if I'm going off on one here, but
No.
that were my thoughts. But no, it was fun. Bradley Walsh we had a right laugh with him. Mark Lebet, good guy, the only interaction I had with him was what you saw on the show. Soon as, he shook our hands, we were ushered out. We didn't even get to say hello to him. Didn't even get to thank him. We just got ushered out into the changing room. So,
at least you couldn't hold your head up high, though.
Well,
you pretty much dominated the whole thing.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there was some hairy moments because, like, I got down to, I think we were 2 from home, and the chaser was right behind me, and I thought, all it takes is one question, I'm out of it. I was practicing like mad with the Chase app, because I've got the Chase app on the iPhone. Okay, so, let's get on to the last question now. What would you both have on your gravestones?
I think I'm sure someone said something about this on Twitter, and I think my answer was, "This should be you."
Yeah, good answer. This should be you.
I just want people's last memories to be something really spiteful and nasty and mean. so they can remember me how I lived.
Yes.
That's quality.
That is quality, I've got to say. I've got to agree with that, that's quality. Okay, Alex, what about you?
Oh, I've never really actually thought about this. However, off the top of my head, I'd probably remember me because I'm fucking dead. What was that?
Remember me because I'm fucking dead. What more could you say? The reason I've actually got that question is it's inspired by Spike Milligan. I don't know if you listened to Crystal's episode a few weeks ago, but Spike Milligan has on his gravestone, "I told you I was ill."
It was a class act, though, Spike Milligan.
Yeah. For you, Sam, it should be you, and for you, Alex, remember me because I'm fucking dead.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Okay. Do you guys want to give a shout out to anybody on Twitter or plug any websites or any podcasts that you've taken part in or anything?
Oh God. To be honest, none of my mates used Twitter. I don't need to plug anything. Or I'm good.
Okay. No Twitter shout outs.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Sam, what about you, mate?
To Beagry, because I wouldn't have known about this without him.
Right.
Zoe. And 16-bit heretic was another atheist on Twitter.
Why does that name sound familiar? 16-bit heretic. No.
Oh, and another shout out to Subma, because he doesn't get enough mentions, really.
No. That'll change. I think he's got a few more people following him now. But yeah,
he's a good man. He's quite calm and reasoned.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys. It's been a real pleasure interviewing you both. Alex, good luck for the future. I hope you get your IT job. And for you, Sam, I hope that you become the ultimate games designer and that you do a game that features the voice of Nolan North.
Well, I'll guarantee you that now.
Okay.
Nolan North, lead role.
Alright, cool.
Alright, guys, thanks very much. Okay, bye.
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 Punk rocker gets on a bus and he's got a can of lager and he's a bit pissed. He goes to the back of the bus and there's this nun sat there and he sits next to her and he starts, nudging her, saying, "Come on, get that off, let's get to it, get your bags off." Starts basically implying that he wants to make love to her. And she's like, "No, please go away, I am a woman of God." Bus conductor comes up to him and says, "Come here, pal." He says, don't you ever treat Sister Mary like that again. She's been on this bus for the last 20 years, and I'm not having anyone mistreating her. And the punk says, well, I'm she's really fit, I really want to shag her. So the bus conductor says, okay, here's the tip. Every Wednesday she's at the graveyard praying for the Holy Ghost. So Wednesday night comes, punk rocker gets a sheet, cuts 2 holes in it, puts it over him and goes to the graveyard. Sure enough, there's the nun, sat there by the grave, praying for the Holy Ghost. And the punk rocker goes, whoa! He goes, I am the Holy Ghost, and I want my way with you. She said, well, you would come at the wrong time of the month, wouldn't you? You're going to have to take me from behind. right good fucking Rogering session. And afterwards, the punk throws off his sheet and goes, ha ha ha, punk rocker. Nun throws off her habit and goes, ha ha ha, fucking bus conductor.